Oliver, Lum and the Bubblegum by Jane Preece. This is the tale of Oliver Lum, whose passion in life was bubblegum. Oliver savored its taste so sweet. Blowing gum bubbles was truly neat. His goal in life was to be the best blowing champ, to beat all the rest. But try as he might, his bubble always burst. His friends were always better, though he never came first. And what's more, his mother found his habit quite foul. If she saw him chewing, she said with a scowl, Oliver Lum, why must you chew this despicable gum? One sunny day, with gumtastic treat popped in his mouth, as he skipped down the street, he chewed and he rolled it around his tongue, sure that today he would not get it wrong. Oliver puckered up to blow, and out of his mouth a bubble did grow. At first it was small, tomato-sized, but as it expanded, he could taste the prize. Today was different, today was great. He'd boast to his friends, he could hardly wait. The bubble grew to the size of a ball. Oliver could not believe it at all. It grew and grew, now big and round. And whoosh! Oliver's feet lifted off the ground. As larger and larger the bubble grew, Oliver took to the air and flew, floating over rooftops and gardens below, eye-bowling with a curious crow. His mother's word echoed in his ear, the very same words he would always hear. Oliver Lum, why must you chew that despicable gum? He now saw some sense in his mother's complaint, as his new lofty paws left him feeling quite faint. Oliver's lips were beginning to ache, and he thought in that instant he'd made a mistake. He blew further and further up into the sky. He dared not look down. He was soaring so high. He flew over mountains and desert of sand, forests and ice caps in far distant lands. There were rivers and oceans as blue as could be, a patchwork world for Oliver to see. Then into the inky black cosmos he rose, a twinkling galaxy in front of his nose. He whizzed round the moon and circled the stars. At dizzying speed, he zoomed past Mars. Then Oliver started to feel quite sad. He realized he'd been a rather silly lad, feeling like he was about to cry. Loneliness hit, and he asked himself why. As Oliver wallowed in grief and despair, an orbiting satellite sliced through the air. It hurtled towards him. It could not stop, piercing his bubble with an enormous pop. Gloopy pink gum now covered his face, and poor Oliver dropped like a stone through space. Down and down and down he fell. back to the town he knew so well. Faster and faster he fell with a wee into the welcoming arms of a tree. Weary and shaking, Oliver climbed down. He managed to stumble home through town. Back home, Oliver was a sorry sight. He looked like he'd been in a terrible fight, battered and bruised, with a gum-covered head. His furious mother sent him to bed. She groaned, Oliver Lum, why must you chew this despicable gum?" And ever since then, he politely declines bubble gum, chewing gum, or sweets of any kind. From that day on, Oliver Lum will choose an apple, banana, or a nice juicy plum. He learned his lesson, and to this day, he heeds his mother's words and will always say, Oliver Lum, never ever chew that despicable gum." The end.